right? I kept saying that. And then you heard someone ask the question yesterday, well, Ben Johnson leaves, and, are you worried, about the offense? And, this is a Dan Campbell's offense, more so than a Ben. And Dan, with the PC answer, says, no, it's a Detroit Lions offense. This is Amon-Ra St. Brown. This is Jared Goff. This is Penei Sewell. He kept listing off names, right? Said the same thing about the defense. Started listing off names. I thought it was a great answer. He deflected away from himself. He's putting the onus on the players. He's putting the responsibility on the coaches alike together, right? Great answer, but we know this is Dan Campbell offense, right? There's another thing that Dan said. I can't remember if it was yesterday. It might have been yesterday, where he was saying, this is my team to lead right now until it's the team's team, right? Until these guys take it over and I don't have to say anything anymore. Every year he starts that way is what I took from it. And then eventually it's Alex Anzalone's taking the defense and Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jared Goff taking the offense. So he's going to lead this team. The coaches are going to lead this team until the team takes the team over. I love that. Absolutely love that. So with what I've said so far, Eric, any compliments or comments before I get into the toll of success here?
All right. I was waiting there dumping my dumpster right now. It was really loud. I had myself muted. Just you have to have a defense that is unselfish and a team that's unselfish, not just the defense, actually. These guys, like you said, can't be out partying it up like they're from the Dallas Cowboys of the 90s. And I don't think they are, today's players are so much different than players 20 years ago or 30 years ago. 20-year-olds are so much different. Now it's let's go play Call of Duty or do a podcast. So I think they're doing more of that kind of stuff than they are out partying it up and, playing with guns and going to parties. At least I hope so. And if you've noticed, the Lions have had the least amount of arrests in the NFL over the last 10 years. And that says a lot to Brad and Dan that their players just aren't getting arrested. They're getting the right types of players in this team. They're not bringing in unsavory characters, let's put it that way, or someone that just they feel is a risk in that area. Someone that's been in trouble with the law before. They're just not bringing those players in, because there was a couple of who was it, Carter from the Philadelphia Eagles that he didn't take in the first round. He passed on him, and the Philadelphia Eagles took him, and he's turned out to be a pretty good player. And I think that Brad still to this day would not go back and change his mind on who he picked, because he wants quality character guys here. And
it's not to say that Carter isn't quality character. He just had a lot going on.
Yeah, there was some, there was risk, and I think Brad would rather not take the risk. And you've seen him pass on some very good players, draft and free agency, because of the risk. And I think the Lions are really good at doing risk assessment.
I think they absolutely are too. And you heard, Brad Holmes say the risk quote the other day. It's now a t-shirt, by the way, on warriorthread.spreadshop.com. Check it out. So paying the toll of success, like this to me is what's happening right now. Not only are the fans paying the toll with season tickets, but you're paying the toll of success by losing coaches. And let me just hit the quote here. It says, the bottom line is when you come into an organization, you want to have the vision for it. You want to get it up on its feet, and then you want it to be self-sustaining. I feel like we're just about there. It's because of the people that we have in this building. It's the owner we have. It's the people that we have from scouting to player personnel to coaches. And most importantly, it's the players. We've been fortunate to stay together here long enough to build this thing with a true foundation of players. That group of players that have been here now going on 5 years with us, all of us together. So that's what it's about. That's what it's about. This group, all of us now. We've seen the ups and downs. We've been through it. So it is the next challenge. So if you say, well, you lost this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, That to me is a slap in the face of the guys in the locker room. We're looking forward to this. This will be the next challenge for us. It won't be easy, but we're all good with that. So a few things to take away here. One, I like the fact that, he says it's a slap in the face to saying you lost all these guys. True. What about the guys that we already have? What about the guys that have cut, that have stayed here? What about the guys that have came back? The Tim Patricks and everybody else, Levi Onzarikis, those guys came back, right? They didn't have to, but they did. Campbell saying that we're just about there. That's a big statement because all I've heard from, again, a certain faction of the fan base is we're one player away. We need a $50 million edge rusher. Matter of fact, we need 2 of them. We're not one player away. Matter of fact, Dan doesn't even think that we're about there to sustaining success. But the only way that we can do that, the only way this team can do that, is to continue building in the same fashion that they started with. That little napkin that they wrote out their plan on in 2021, sometime in January, early January, I think is when the meeting was, in 21, is the same core principle process this team has followed. Just ask Chris Spielman. So when you pay the toll of success and you start to lose coaches like Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn and Tanner Engstrand, which again I never thought he was going to be the OC. I know many people did. I thought he would be next in line too, but he just wasn't there yet. I feel like this is an opportunity now to see where this team is at mentally, to see a big change. Now, I think that one thing's going to happen. You may not have 15 wins this year. Matter of fact, I can almost guarantee it. It's going to be a much tougher schedule.